All right, so welcome to episode 3 of Jake's health journey. I don't even know what we're going to call this, but it's just it's a journal, if you will, and a reference for me to pass on things that I've learned and where I've failed and succeeded in my weight loss journey. So just to recap, Jake, 47 years old. I'm about 181, 180 pounds, depending on how much I drink of water that day. And I lost that. I lost 40 pounds, about 40 pounds over an 8-month period. Last week we talked about the tools that you needed, and I gave you homework to track your calories, and so hopefully you've done that by now. And so pretty crazy, right? Like, hopefully you came to the realization that the stuff that we eat and that's shoved in front of our face, and the amount that's shoved in front of our face, is extremely counterproductive to a healthy diet, unfortunately, especially here in the United States. The foods we eat are designed, engineered to taste very good, to be very nutrient and calorie dense, and also to be affordable in large quantities. Now, inflation is increasing the rise of food and things like that, but you could still get really fat on a pretty low amount of money, and that has to do with the engineered food that we eat. And so that first week essentially was to help you realize, really how many calories you're taking in, and also how crazy the food that is put in front of us is when it comes to calories. So hopefully that was an eye-opening experience. Now, your second eye-opening experience, and this is your second piece of your homework, is I want you to continue to log those calories, but I want you to also weigh your food, okay? And so I know what you're thinking, like, Jake, you're totally insane. I'm not going to weigh my food. This is ridiculous. The reason why I want you to do that is because that was a realization I had about 2 months into my journey when I was stalled. Like, I was trying to figure out why my weight loss was stalled. Some of it was based on what I talked about before with, the whole biology piece of our body reacting to the body loss and freaking out, thinking that we're killing ourselves or we're dying. And so it's, slowing things down and making you a little lazier subconsciously and things like that. But some of it is also because we are terrible estimators of food quantity, okay? Real story. So I'm stalled out, right? I think I was like about 100 and... No, sorry. I was about 208 pounds, I think, or so. I was about 2 months in. So almost to that end of year, man, that was my goal. I wanted to be under 200 pounds by the end of the year. And I was freaking out, like, what the heck? Why am I not losing weight like I was at the beginning? Well, first of all, I didn't know about that evolution thing, or the life thing, where basically our body fights against us in this process. But the other thing I was doing was I was eating in quantities larger than I estimated. So, real example, like every once in a while when I did good, I would go and I would get this Smart Food white cheddar popcorn. You may know what I'm talking about. This stuff is great. Okay, I love it. Somewhat okay fats, calories are okay. And you can eat like I think it's like 3.5 cups or something like that is how much you can eat in one serving. And that's like 140, 160 calories or something. So it was something that I felt like was a nice treat to reward myself for hard work and whatever. And if it fit inside my calorie count, it's all good. So I had this bowl. I didn't have a scale. So I would pour the popcorn into that bowl. And I'd look at it, it's about 3.5 cups. So, I was reading something or watching something, and maybe it was Sam Sulik, who I've mentioned before. He was talking about weighing his food. I was like, man, that's so obsessive. Like, I'm not going to weigh my food. That's brutal. All it takes is one time for you to discover one time how bad we are at estimating. So I bought a scale, like $10 on Amazon. I linked it in the previous video, in the description of the previous video. I measured that popcorn. I was eating 3 times the amount. So maybe I'm just a horrible estimator, but I bet you we all kind of have that. Because number one, I was going by size, and really, and this is showing me weight. And so I think it was like 28 grams was like a serving. I was eating like 60 something grams or 70 grams. And I was like, holy crap, I'm eating like 600 calories when I thought I was only eating 160 calories. And so from then on, I started weighing everything. And I was amazed. Like the meats that I was eating, I was like, holy crap, I'm eating like 1.5 times what I thought I was eating. And so my calorie tracking, even though I was being honest, or what I thought was being honest, I was actually full of crap because my portion sizes were so terrible. And I think that was probably a side effect of the portion size that we get served at restaurants and stuff. You think, oh, yeah, okay, that's a portion, and the plate's this big, right? Maybe that's just Texas, I don't know. But yeah, it happens all the time. We're given serving sizes that are like 3 to 4 times the size. So anyway, yeah, so get that scale. And this week, I want you to count your calories, but I also want you to weigh it too. It'll blow your mind, okay? So start doing that. And so that means something interesting, which is you're going to have to cut down the amount of times you go out to eat, okay? I know that sucks. You're going to be cooking at home more. But not just weighing the food, you're going to be able to control how the food is prepared when you eat at home. Okay, I'm not talking about eating like frozen dinners and stuff like that, right? That's back to the calorie dense engineered food stuff. I want you to eat things you like to eat. Like, if you're a vegetarian, cook some vegetables and things, but don't drown them in butter. Or if you do, count them, right? Count the calories. Don't drown it in olive oil. If you do, count the calories. Don't drown it in ranch. If you do, count the calories and, stay in your lane, if you will. And we'll talk about what that lane is here in a sec. But that's the other thing is not only will you be able to weigh it, but you'll also be able to control how it's prepared. When we go out to eat and we eat those foods in the restaurants, there's a reason why it tastes so good. For example, if you order chicken breast at a restaurant, you have no idea if somebody doused it in butter. Like they just let it soak in butter all night, and then they grilled it, and they're like, "Oh, grilled chicken, it's healthy." No, it's absorbed like 2 pounds of margarine or something in it, so it's horrible for you. So you need to be able to control some variables at this point, and hopefully, maybe you've even curbed your eating a little bit and you've lost a little bit of weight. If not, don't be discouraged because now we're getting serious, right? We're going to count calories. We're also going to weigh it. And you're also going to stay in a caloric deficit. Okay, what does that mean? So that calorie calculator that you used last week that I linked to, you should have typed in your age, your weight, your sex. If you know your body fat, that's great. But unless you've done like a DEXA scan, which I'll talk about maybe later, I wouldn't use body weight right now because every other way other than MRI and DEXA scan is way too error prone. It's way off. I tried to use calipers and stuff at the very beginning. It just discouraged the crap out of me. So keep that on the back burner for now. Don't worry about your body fat percentage, okay? I started worrying about it because I'm a maniac and I start detailing out everything and I completely freaked out. But just use that calculator and then, calculate out losing 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's a good start. Half a pound to start is too little because you won't be able to see that day-to-day change, right? So aim for about 1 to 2 pounds of loss and then put in your lifestyle. So if you work at a desk like I do every day, you have a sedentary lifestyle. Okay, I hate to break it to you, you do, okay? If you are a teacher and you're on your feet every day or something like that, you can put that in. And then that'll spit out a estimated calories that you need to be able to take in or that you need to take in to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. And it's going to be tough, okay? Mine, just to give you an idea, so I was 220 pounds, 5'8" male, 47 years old. I started out at 1,600 calories a day. And since you tracked your calories last week, that's not a lot of calories, okay? So you can do it. I believe in you. So count your calories and keep track of them and make sure you're under every day. If you're over like by 50 or something, don't beat yourself up. Just the next day, try to score maybe under 50. Try to get that average down. Now, you might be thinking, hey, when do I get my cheat meals and stuff like that? You can't do that right now. You need to retrain yourself to eat and live this way before you can start doing cheating, okay? And I don't call it cheating, I call it refeed. I didn't actually start doing refeeds or cheat days until I was like 6 months in. And that's just because I know myself. And that's the other thing I forgot to maybe mention in the first video. You need to know yourself. Like, are you disciplined enough to eat one chip? Or, are you going to eat the whole bag? And the harder thing about that is as you lose weight, your subconscious is going to tell you to eat that whole bag more and more, which sucks, but that's the way our bodies work. But know yourself and what you can do, and try to eliminate as many variables as possible. If you have kids like I do, I feel bad because it's going to take a crap ton of self-discipline, because your pantry is probably full of chips and cookies and cereal, all that fun stuff that you're not going to be eating anymore. You can sneak a piece every once in a while, but not now. Okay, that comes later. But just be very strict and get under that calorie count for a week. The other thing I want you to do is start to do some light exercising, okay? That can just be walking for 10 minutes after every meal. That's something that I kind of learned from one gentleman. I can't remember his name right now, but he has a vertical diet, where he basically advocates walking 10 minutes after every meal, just to get your body metabolism kind of going, get your body flowing using those nutrients that you just consumed. And so, maybe that's an easy thing for you to just do 10 minutes after every meal. Just go walk outside or walk on a treadmill or something, or bike if you want to. But just start incorporating some of that exercise, but don't overdo it. That was one thing that I did at the very beginning, and I suffered a little bit of injury. Just to quickly recap that, the way I was doing it was I was eating, I was keeping my calorie tracking, but then I was doing incline treadmill at the gym. And I would do, at the beginning, it was pretty low. Like I'd do 10 minutes at like 2% incline at like 2.8 miles per hour. So pretty steady, but I did it religiously. I did it like 4 or 5 times a week. But what started to happen is I started increasing the intensity. I put the incline up further, and I got walking faster, and I got walking longer. Well, guess what? My left hamstring, that's the muscle behind your thigh, started to feel really weird. Like it was a little tight. It felt like it was going to rip in half. It wasn't like it was painful. It just didn't feel right. And that lasted for months. In fact, I could still feel it a little bit, but it's way better. But I attribute that to the incline I was doing. I think I went too fast, too far. I pushed myself too fast. So just start easy, because the diet's going to help you a lot in the beginning. The exercise, it's going to be a chore at first, but then it'll just be part of your routine. It'll get easier. So continue tracking your stuff, weigh it, eat at home more so you can control the foods you eat a bit more, and then start to get a little bit of exercise so that you can just keep your muscle and your cardiac or your cardiovascular system up to snuff. I like devices, so you can start, if you don't have one, get like a Fitbit or a Google Watch like I use, or an Apple Watch or something like that. Start tracking your steps, shoot for 10,000 steps. That can be one thing you shoot for, but just don't overdo it. Start out slow, start out controlled, and don't try to become a marathon runner overnight. If you're into that. The other thing I would say is make sure you're drinking plenty of water. That's really important. And if you're drinking soft drinks and stuff that are diet, that's fine, but just make sure you're getting water too. And if you want to kind of get some extra credit this week, start looking at your protein macros. Look how much protein you're taking in. And I'll talk a little bit about that maybe maybe next episode, or maybe the episode after that. But let's keep it simple, right? So again, track your calories, weigh your food, which means you're going to be eating at home more, and get a little bit of exercise. And also, sorry, I meant to mention this, make sure you start weighing in every morning. So when you wake up first thing every morning, go to the bathroom, and then before you drink anything or anything like that, just get on the scale and just add it to the app. If you don't have an app that has the scale thing or weight thing, you can use like Google Fit, or I think Apple's got some. I use Google, not Apple, but just record your weight. Don't obsess about the number right now. Right now we're collecting data. Just think about it as you're collecting data. And so make sure you're capturing that weight. Anyway, so much to talk about, so much to cover, but I really appreciate you watching this. If you like it, like the video, subscribe, and tune in for some future one. And again, use the comments. Like, comment down below if you have a question for me or something. I'll answer it as best I can. I even may do a whole episode around it. So I don't know how popular these are going to be, so I don't really know what to expect. But anyway, stay strong. Keep it up. Give yourself grace. Remember, but commit. Aim for your goals, and you're going to be just fine. Cool. So I'll see you next time.